Today is Birth Mother Day. I'm an adoptive mom, and I would like to honor this day and honor my son's birth mom and honor my son's story and some of those precious moments that have connected David to both his mom and his birth mom. It started about 20 years ago. This is my precious boy. Isn't he adorable? I love him to bits. He always knew he was adopted. He always knew Em. But he wanted a birth story from me too. And so when he was little and Jonathan was little, I would tell them, Jonathan grew in my tummy and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the boys, not my suggestion, but they did it anyways, would go, until it exploded. And then I said, and then David came into my heart and it grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And the boys, of course, would go, until it exploded. Well, my heart does explode for love with all three of my sons. But David came to me one day when he was little, maybe kindergarten age, and he said that he felt sad for Jonathan. I said, why? Because he only has one mom. And I thought, this is a moment, a precious moment that I will savor and remember and treasure, because it's a moment where he sensed in a little boy way the richness of his story. And he was connected to both his birth mom and his mom in that moment. And then, let's see, a few years later, I was home and in this living room with David, and we had music playing. And okay, I am not coordinated. I'm not a great dancer. No questions there. But I was dancing around, having a good time. I looked over and David, he's in elementary age, and he just looks at me and shakes his head. I said, what are you thinking? And he said, for the first time in my life, I'm glad I'm adopted. I bust out laughing because one, that dry sense of humor, totally am. Oh my goodness, that is just like her. And also laughed a little bit because I'm not sure genetically if he would have got any better dance moves than he got from seeing me dance. But I was thrilled and treasured it because this was a moment that David connected with his birth mom and his mom. And it honored his story. A few months ago, I took David to the special driving place where I could teach him in safety how to drive. And we started just with the gas and the clutch and brake, of course, really important, not just know how to go, but to stop. And he said in the middle of it, he goes, Mom, would you film this and send it to Em? Because I'd like her to be able to share in this moment. And I said, sure, I'd be happy to. And I filmed it and sent it to her. And I treasured this in my heart because my son was connecting to his birth mom and his mom. And it was honoring his story. So a couple of weeks ago, my final story was David is accepted to university, and it's across the ocean from where we live right now, but near to Em. And I'm very happy about that. But he's filling out paperwork, and one of them was the emergency contact, and there's 2 spots. And I said, well, you really need somebody that's closer than me, because if something happens, I can't get to you fast. So it needs to be somebody who can get to you fast and who will really jump on it. And he goes, well, what about Em? I said, great idea. In a flash, she would be there for you. And so he filled all the info in, and it said at one spot, relationship. And we looked at each other, and I said, she's your birth mother. If I were you, I would write birth mother in there. So he did. And then the second spot, he put my name and info in. And for relationship, he put mom. And again, this is a moment it's still fresh for me, that I'm just treasuring it in my heart, because David is connecting to his birth mom and his mom. And it's honoring his story. So I just want to say, Em, Thank you. Thank you for sharing him. Thank you for loving him. Thank you for making such a hard choice. And I am thrilled that he's going to be living near you and that it's going to be your turn to share some of those treasured moments with me. I love him to the moon and back, and I thank God for the day I became his mother. And I love you too. Happy Birth Mother Day.